This is key to quiz number one. And in quiz one, you had two equations, and these were linear equations, and you're asked to solve these linear equations. Number one is very straightforward. There are no parentheses, no fractions, no decimals. So it's a very simple equation to solve. But the first thing you have to do is notice that on the left-hand side, you have two like terms. So 8x and then negative 2x. You can think of this as adding the opposite, so negative 2x. And so you want to combine those two like terms. So 8x subtract 2x is a positive 6x. So this like term and this like term, remember you can think of this as adding a negative or just subtracting 2x. So 8x minus 2x is 6x. So I get 6x plus 3 equal, and then 3x minus 4. All right, so then the next step we're going to do is, when solving a linear equation, is we're going to bring all the variables to one side, all the constants to the other. And so since the coefficient of x on this side is 6, which is positive 6, and positive 6 is greater than positive 3, I'm going to bring the variable terms to the to the left-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3x from both sides. So remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So these two terms here you had to list. So subtract 3x, subtract 3x. All right, so what you do to one side of the equation, you do to the other side. And so 6x minus 3x, combining like terms again. So 6x minus 3x is 3x. I get 3x plus 3 is equal to, this is 0. 3x minus 3x is 0. And 0 and a negative 4 is a negative 4. And then we're going to bring the constants to the other side. So right now I'm adding 3. The opposite is to subtract 3. Again, what you do to one side, you do to the other. So you must say subtract 3, subtract 3. And then we're going to combine like terms again. So positive 3 and negative 3 is 0. And so I get 3x plus 0 is 3x equal, and then a negative 4 and a negative 3 is a negative 7. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and solve for x. So notice that the 3 here is the coefficient of x, and notice the operation is multiplication. 3x is 3 times x, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 3, and then reducing or simplifying. I get 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is x, equal negative 7/3, and I cannot simplify negative 7/3, so there is my answer. Now, if you want to write this as a mixed number, you can, but don't write as a decimal. So either leave it as an improper fraction or change it to a mixed number. And as a mixed number, this would be negative 2 and 1/3. All right, so that was number one. Now, in the second equation, number 2, we had this equation, 3 times 2x minus 5, in parentheses, minus x equal 2x plus 7. All right, so this is not a difficult one either. No fractions are involved, no decimals are involved, but you do have parentheses here. So remember, the operation, when you read this, this reads as 3 times this quantity that's in here, this expression, that's 2x minus 5. And so the first thing we have to do is get rid of these parentheses. And so we're going to multiply every term that's inside the parentheses by this 3. And that's, remember, is the distributive property. So when I distribute the 3, I get 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times a negative 5 is a negative 15. And then minus x equal 2x plus 7. And so this part here looks like number 1 to begin with, right? All right, so the next step is to combine like terms. So 6x minus x is 5x. So I get 5x minus 15 equal 2x plus 7. And then, just like before, we're going to bring all the variable terms to one side, all the constants to the other. In this case, just to show you what to do, I would go ahead and subtract 2x from both sides. But let me just show you what to do if you did it the other way. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5x from both sides, just to show you what you would need to do. All right, so when I subtract 5x from both sides and combine like terms, 5x minus 5x is 0. 0 and a negative 15 is a negative 15 equal. Now be careful here. So some of you may have done this. where you subtracted 5x from both sides, you just got to remember that 2x and a negative 5x is a negative 3x. All right, and then plus 7. And then subtract 7 from both sides. Remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. And then combine like terms, a negative 15 and a negative 7 is a negative 22 equal, this is 0, positive 7, negative 7 is 0, and that's equal to negative 3x. And then finally, to get x by itself, let me go ahead and rewrite this. So the coefficient of x is a negative 3. Remember, this is multiplication, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. And when I do that and simplify and reduce, I get negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. 1 times x is x, equal. But you got to remember that a negative divided by negative is a positive. So you cannot leave it as negative 22 divided by negative 3. You are expected to know that a negative divided by a negative number is a positive number. And so we get a positive 22 thirds, or if you want to write this as a mixed number, it is 7 and 1/3. So just remember how to do that. So remember, you say 7 into 22. 7 goes into 22. 3 goes into 22 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21 with the remainder of 1. So you get 7 and 1/3. All right. So either one of these is fine. Don't write as a decimal. Leave it as a improper fraction or a mixed number in this case. All right, so that was the key to quiz number 1.